Happy Sunday. Um, it is a few days after Valentine's Day, and I just watched a Shameless Sunday series from Shameless Maya, and it inspired me to want to do a podcast about love because so many of what's out there in the world is focused on the women's perspective of what Valentine's Day is like, but no one ever talks about Valentine's Day from our perspective. And not necessarily from the perspective of like, oh, I gotta give flowers and candies and cards and gifts and all that stuff. Not that part, which I won't get into that because I feel like that's a whole rabbit hole. But really, what I want to talk to is I want to talk to the single guy, the emotionally hurt guy. Because I am single. I used to be emotionally hurt. So I want to speak to that guy because I can speak with a lot of certainty. So the guy that is emotionally hurt is where I want to start. Valentine's Day is very triggering. Yesterday, I'm sorry, not yesterday. Valentine's Day, which was 2 days ago, was very triggering. It sparked a bunch of feelings. One of them, a part of me being truly happy and excited for everyone sharing their new love or their new expressed love. Let me say that because a lot of people are were actually already in relationships, but it was the first time social media, us on the other side of the relationship, have been privy to this information. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was the trigger points. I know a lot of people just decided to log the fuck off. Yes, on Valentine's Day because it was hard, especially if you're someone who either just got out of a really bad relationship or you've been single so long you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Because I've been there too. I can say this. I think first, what's important is to remember that the absence of love in your life shouldn't cause you to be, how do I say this? Shouldn't cause you to place that on someone else's love. So if someone else has managed to find and cultivate love in a way that make them so freely want to share with the world, it shouldn't make you feel like what's wrong with you. Someone else's love is not a reflection of yours. However, I know it can be triggering because it holds up a mirror sometimes or all the time to the fact that you don't have it in your life. But always remember that someone else's love shouldn't, the absence of love in your life shouldn't be a trigger because someone else has, not shouldn't be a trigger, shouldn't cause you to feel like something's wrong with you because you don't have love in your life. That's what I mean to say. So number one, I wanted to talk about that. Number two, I also wanted to start a healthy dialogue. Like, what are your general feelings around Valentine's Day? Because I know it's hard. Um, Me personally, I've never had a Valentine. I've never been in a relationship on Valentine's Day. That was a lie. One Valentine's Day I was in a relationship. One Valentine's Day. Only one time. But so we'll take that it has happened one time, but I am about to be 32, so clearly it hasn't been a lot. So I can definitely speak from the perspective that I've never really had a Valentine. And so this day is always usually sad for me, but this year wasn't sad. It was a part of me was excited to see like who's in love or who's going to share their love. Let me say that. Not who's in love, but who's going to share their love. And so I was excited about that. I was excited about all of my peeps who were my good friend Corey shared with the world that he is having a baby. So that was exciting to see. There were so many other people that was like, I'm in love. And I was like, oh my God, y'all got somebody. How come you never told me? But you got somebody like that. But, so this year was a little different for me. But I know in past years, I've definitely been the person like, fuck y'all hoes. For real. Like, I mean, I've been there. So I wanted to talk about that. I also wanted to dig a little deeper and talk about the other side of that, which is not just the triggering part from what other people are doing, but what's happening in your life. I have questions. I want to know, are you ready for a relationship that has the type of magnitude that you would need to feel good on Valentine's Day? Because Maya, which is what Shameless Maya, which is what sparked this entire debate here, said something really interesting on her video that she did earlier today, where she was basically saying that one of the things she learned was that the people she was in relationships with, they were not emotionally ready to handle the depth of what she had to give. And so that in itself is also a feeling that sometimes you have to accept, that it's not all about what you're doing wrong or doing right. Therefore, it's just the other person isn't ready for what you have to give. And so, as they say, the person that's waiting for you might be in therapy working on themselves so they can be with you. While you also need to be doing the work so that you can be emotionally ready for them as well. So it's vice versa. So I know it's hard. I'm also single, so don't feel like, oh, I got somebody now and now I'm talking all this shit and I can't relate. I can. I'm still single, just for the record. But I wanted you guys to just remember these little tidbits and, kind of uplift you guys a little, because it's hard as fuck in these streets. Especially the fact that you're not always aware of what someone's intentions are. And, all these things kind of lead you to sometimes having trust issues. Well, can we say that? Because you never know if people are actually here for you. So I just wanted to dive into that a little bit. But I finally found it, so I'm going to pull up the quote. The quote says, "You're not ready for the kind of intimacy that I'm ready to give." And that's one thing she said that she learned that really like punched her in the gut. It was like, they're not ready. And that's okay. Let them go. Because I know for myself, I've definitely been the person who was in a relationship. And while in the relationship, I kept trying to mold them and make them be this perfect person, when the whole time I just should have walked away. Because who they were was who they were. And at the end of the day, who the fuck am I to try to make you into somebody else? I needed to put that work into myself. And so I too can relate to that quote. So I'm going to leave you with that quote. I'm going to repeat it again. It says, you're not ready for the kind of intimacy that I can give. Remember, this quote works in reverse. Maybe they're not ready for the type of intimacy that you can give. Take that with you along your journey for the week. And happy after Valentine's Day. We're about to roll up into Monday. And I hope you guys have a powerful, successful week. Go out there and crush it, fellas. Until next time, peace.